this is huge for the Red Sox. The Boston Red Sox are targeting a shortstop from the Milwaukee Brewers, and his name is Willy Adames, a former Tampa Bay Ray. This all coming from Chris Cotillo of Mass Live, and this article from Sports Illustrated by Jackson Roberts just 38 minutes ago from when I'm filming this. The Red Sox are targeting a $152 million superstar shortstop in Willy Adames. Let's get right into the quote here as we take a look further into this video. Let's get into the quote. This is what Chris Cotillo had to say. And really, from all I'm seeing here, I think that Cotillo is mentioning that there are some people in the Red Sox front office who really want to bring in Adames. But based on what Cotillo has already seen with the roster, there is not enough space for them to bring in Adames without moving some players out. And Cotillo thinks that this would actually lead to a less talented team. So, welcome to Red Sox Digest. I'm Evan Sharrard. Thank you for joining us. Subscribe so that you can keep up to date with all the latest Red Sox news, rumors, updates. We are in the thick of the Major League Baseball playoff, but there's still Red Sox news to talk about every day. So, make sure you subscribe. Stick with us. Let's get right into the meat of this. What the heck do I think about all this? So the Red Sox have some execs who are targeting Adames, others who may not be. It's also very early. We haven't quite hit the unrestricted free agent period yet. Willy Adames will be one of those, and $152 million is the number that they're tagging on him right now. And really, when we think about Willy Adames on the Red Sox, the biggest part here is how will he fit in. And Cotillo kind of noted this, that he is going to be coming into a pretty crowded infield. So Adames, we'll take a look at his stats after this. There's that graphic we just showed you. But Willy Adames has been exceptional this season, hitting 32 home runs, driving in over 100. Those are both elite power numbers and strong numbers that you want from a star offensive player. His on-base, his OPS plus is at 118, which I think what I usually like to say is 100 is average, and anything below is below major league average. Anything above is above, and the higher above or further below, the better or worse you are, respectively. So Adames had a strong season. He didn't have like the best season in the league, not an MVP candidate by any means, but definitely the best offensive player on the Brewers this year based on those RBIs and the home runs. And Adames, what you don't see here is his defensive ability, but he'd be coming in and playing shortstop, third base maybe, and second base would be another spot that'd be open. But really, because of his range, you'd want him at short. But there are some other players who this season have played short for the Red Sox, and I'm not even going to be including one of the players, which is Trevor Story, but this is the guy who really took over at short for the majority of the year, and that's Ceddanne Rafaela. And his stats, this is really an extension of his rookie season. His on-base plus slugging plus is below average at 82. So, again, this is his first full season in the big leagues, and he almost drove in 100 runs. His on-base percentage was below 30%, so 300. It's 274. That's not the best, and you want that to improve. But with Rafaela, the problem with him coming into the bigs was his discipline. The kid has the power, he's got the speed, he's got the defensive prowess and the range, and he showed off all of that at the major league level. But now you need to give him time to develop and hopefully take that next step to where he is a more disciplined hitter. And now we're talking about a superstar at short who you've got under contract for a long time. He can also play multiple positions, and the Red Sox already have a crowded outfield. They don't have a crowded infield right now, but shortstop's probably the one position I'm not worried about right now, because the one guy we didn't bring up was Trevor Story, who will be coming back again healthy this next season, and he was healthy at the end of the season. And when he's on the field, he is by far the best Red Sox infielder defensively. He is fantastic. The way he got injured this year and was out for months was by snagging a ball that was impossible, and then he landed on his shoulder wrong, and he was out months. But despite that injury, even then he was showing that he was an elite defender. So the shortstop position is one where I think the Red Sox, the fit here just doesn't really work unless you're going to move Adames to second, and then I understand it because maybe we don't want to move David Hamilton into a starting position for a full season. Maybe Maier's not ready, and we don't want to move Rafaela to the outfield, so we don't shift Maier from short to second. That's the other thing I haven't even brought up yet is Marcelo Maier is one of the top prospects in all of Major League Baseball, a first round draft pick from the Red Sox just a few years ago, and here he is where he's about ready. This is pretty much his ETA. His estimated time is this next season, and now we're talking about bringing in Willy Adames. I just don't know if that fit makes any sense. But with that being said, we do have to talk about Adames' stats more in depth here, because if I'm going to make this case that Adames doesn't belong on the Red Sox based on their general fits, then we need to actually take a look at what his numbers are to sort of defend that. So these are Willy Adames' Baseball Reference stats. I sorted these from 2024 back to his first year playing with the Rays in 2018. He was 22. You can see on that award side all the way to the right, he did have MVP votes in 2021, where he hit 25 home runs and 73 RBIs. And the Rays were good the year before and that year as well. They were in their stretch of making the playoffs that ended this year. But what we're seeing here is that the Brewers really got a lot out of him. He was fantastic in Milwaukee, always displaying that 20-plus home run power. And then the past couple of years, he's really been a fantastic power hitter and driving in a ton of runs. So drove in 98, 31 home runs in 2022, and then the 24 and 80 and the 32 and 112, a career high. So Adames is also 28, and I think that's important to mention because he's not over that 30 age, which I think in all of professional sports is generally considered, okay, now we got to start worrying about how long of a contract we give this guy. Does he taper off in his ability? If he's 30 and we give him a 5-year deal, are we going to be getting a different player in year 3 or 4, or really more year 4 or 5 versus year 1 or 2? And for Adames, you don't really have to worry about that right now. He's 28, so in 5 years he'll be 33. At the worst, he will be past his prime and just starting to take a dip, but not so much so to where there's a major drop-off, unless some injury happens. So I'm not worried about his health or his ability to play past a couple years. He's just displayed his ability to be a superstar level offensive player. Plus, very interestingly here, he has 21 stolen bases this season, so he really took advantage of that increased base size that came into the league this year, and he snagged over double any other total that he had stealing bases his entire career. Wasn't really known for his speed, still isn't known for his speed, but perhaps he's displayed the fact that he could be an exceptional base runner, and the Red Sox can use that. They love to steal bases, and they've had the speed influx with Jarren Duran and David Hamilton really nabbing bases left and right for the Red Sox this year. Adames could really fit right into that offensive toolbox that the Red Sox have. So these are his basic stats. I really like what I'm seeing here. I love Adames offensively. And now we can take a look at his baseball savant stats, which will show more of what we're sort of getting at here with his ability to score runs and also his defensive prowess. So in Baseball Reference, these are kind of hard to see, but anything in red, those are really good numbers. Anything in blue, those are very bad. And then anything in between is in between. So a lot of red here, not a lot of dark red. The darker, the higher, the better. The lower, the worse. And these are all based on percentiles. So his batting, these are all value stats. I won't really go into much detail there, but he had exceptional batting run value. But we can get into the stats that I will explain here, and we see his expected on base and on expected batting average. Expected batting average, not that great, around average, but that's okay because look at that expected slugging, where he's expected to be And what expected means is that this player is based on all the results and the usual results of how someone hits a ball, we are expecting this player to have hit a double or something. But because of an incredible play by an outfielder who's not usually there, it turned into a single. Hence the expected part and not the actual. So based on his hits, his contact, all of the balls put in play by him, his expected slugging is in the 84th percentile, which means this guy gets a lot of extra base hits, or should get a lot of extra base hits, which is awesome for Fenway Park because it's a double hitter's dream. And we've got the Green Monster in left field, and Adames is a right-handed power bat, something the Red Sox need. His walk percentage is also really high, and I love that because the Red Sox need discipline, and that's one area where he is way ahead, I think, of Ceddanne Rafaela unless he makes that big jump. So there's that difference there if you want to talk about who's better. I would say that Adames is and would be the best overall shortstop the Red Sox could bring in, but it doesn't make sense. That's the real question. And then his chase percentage is actually right around the middle of the league, and then his whiff, K rate, and squared up percentage are all really low. Now, the squared up percentage I think is interesting because if that rose, then could we be talking about the best shortstop in baseball if he squared everything up? Despite that, he's got a really good sweet spot percentage for his launch angle. So even though he's not squaring the ball up with the bat, he's actually swinging at an angle where he's going to be getting consistent good contact, which I think that's interesting how that works. The barrel percentage is really good, meaning he usually always barrels up the baseball. He's not making bad contact, and those are interesting things. Bat speed's good, so he's getting that thing around his shoulder really quickly, able to see the ball in deeper. And the defensive stats from what are right here, his range is above average, not fantastic, but good. And his arm strength is great. I mean, really, he's got one of the better arms in baseball at the shortstop position. Not the best, but very good. So those are his stats. And now, with that being said, do we like this? Is this the guy that we want to bring in for the Red Sox playing shortstop and maybe second base? I gotta say no. I'm saying no just because the Red Sox have been on a path where they've been building for the future. They've been building through the draft homegrown players. And just a couple days ago, the Red Sox front office sat down for a press conference and talked about how it's pretty much, they said, it's time. We're now, our goal is to make the playoffs, win the division, etc. And I'm not walking back and saying Red Sox shouldn't spend money. They should just rely on the players that they have and grow them. But I think that the Red Sox have grown a great base of players, and I think that they can address needs that aren't shortstop because they have Maier, who we haven't even seen at the big league level yet. We don't even know what we have with him there. We have Rafaela, who just played a great shortstop and can play the outfield and usually does play the outfield. He can also play some other places in the infield. Not first, not catcher, but you want to try him at second or third base? Be my guest. I'm sure he'd do great. The Red Sox also have a superstar third baseman already in Rafael Devers over there. Are you going to put him into designated hitter? What do you do with Masataka Yoshida at that point? There are a lot of position battles that pretty much would result of signing Willy Adames unless the Red Sox say to Willy, hey, you're playing second, or hey, you're playing short. Trevor is going to play second, and Rafaela's going to the outfield. We're getting rid of O'Neill. Willier will play in right, and Duran will play in left, or something like that. But still, the shortstop position is not a need for the Red Sox right now. And although Willy Adames is one of the better right-handed bats available, I think that there are other players the Red Sox should consider unless they really think that they need to make another move and get rid of one of Yoshida or Abreu, which, again, I don't think that name makes sense to get rid of. Yoshida also has been here for 2 seasons. Are we going to just trade him after signing him to one of the biggest contracts we've signed in the last 5 years? I don't think so. So with that being said, those are my takes on Willy Adames. Will the Red Sox go get him? We'll find out. And right now, I really think the Red Sox future looks bright right now. We've got a lot of top prospects coming in. Willy Adames could be coming in as well. We'll find out really soon. Enjoy the rest of the Major League Baseball playoffs. I'm Evan Sharrard for Red Sox Digest saying so long, and I will see you next time.